Alright, first things first is we're going to take this nut off the crossbar here. Alright, so we got that off. And we want to unthread this bolt here from the fixture. Alright, so we got that off. Now your crossbar should come off. This is your ground nut if you use a ground wire. And this is your screws right here that hold the crossbar into the fixture up in the ceiling. Alright, so based on where you're going to be installing your new light fixture, you need to cut your chain and your electrical wire down to size. So what I've done is taken off a few lengths of chain because we're not really going to hang it that low. And you can kind of just bunch them up if you need to. And then next I'll be measuring the wire to match the length of the chain and then cutting the wire. So to about right there, you can take a pair of wire snips or pliers with the cuts at the end and snip the wire. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to thread the wire through the chain, and you just kind of go back and forth just like this, as to kind of hide the wire whenever it's up there. Alright, so once you get your wire threaded through your chain, the last step is kind of leave this here, and then you want to unscrew this chain in that you had here and screw into the last chain link that you had. Let's see. And then you can just tighten this back up. Alright, so once you got the right cut of wire here, you're going to want to separate your positive and your negatives. Start out by making a small cut right here with a pair of wire snips. And I like to thread them out probably about 6 inches or 8 inches or so. And then that's your positive or negative here. And then what we'll do is, there's a better tool that you can use, wire cutters here. But, you want to strip the plastic lining outside of the edge of these wires. Alright, so I removed the plastic coating off the negative and positive wires. I think for this light they made the universal wires because there's no distinctive black and white marks on the plastic coating. So there are some fixtures that have universal wires there. So once you take your plastic coating off, you're going to thread the wires through the bolt on the crossbar. Just like that. And then that'll leave you with this. Alright, so what we're going to do next is we're going to connect the negative and positive to the negative and positive. Actually, in an electric chandelier, it's not negative positive, it's hot and neutral. So your hot is needs to be connected to your white wire, and your neutral needs to be connected to your black wire. And you just secure those using a wire nut. Take this. Alright, and there you go, you're connected there. Alright, so your next step is going to be installing your crossbar up here. So you kind of got to finagle cords up into the recess where the fixture's at. And you line up your crossbar with the screw holes. And you kind of get those started. Use your drill. And you can screw that in there. Alright, and do the same to the other side. Just like that. And now your crossbar is installed, not going anywhere. All right, so don't forget, learn from my mistake. I had it all the way up on the ceiling, ready to turn on, and I forgot that I had not threaded the wires through this connecting chain here that attaches to the bolt on your crossbar. All right, so last step, once you've got your crossbar installed, your wires connected, obviously first, before the crossbar installed, you put your plate up to the ceiling where you want it to be, and then you'll kind of thread this wire out like this until you can screw into the bolt that's coming out of the crossbar. Alright, so we'll take that bolt and basically thread it into where our wire got fed through the chain. Just to make it tight against the ceiling here. All right, you're tight. All right, so we've installed it. Don't let it be more complicated than it has to be. As you can see here, we have some extra chain and wire, quite a bit of it actually. Just for this purpose, we left it. You won't need to leave it once you figure out where you're gonna hang your light, how low. But we may end up actually moving it a little bit more centered in the room over our bed, so that's why we left extra chain.